Okay, so let's unpack this. Because today we are looking at something that, well, honestly, it might just change the way you wake up tomorrow morning.
It really might. It's that fundamental.
Right. And I don't mean that in a drink more water kind of way, though.
Yeah.
That's probably good advice, too. We're doing a deep dive today into what I'm calling the hidden operating system of our lives.
It's a fascinating concept. The source material we're working with today, specifically the systems phase of this framework, which covers chapters 13 through 18, it really challenges the fundamental assumption most of us have.
Which is that we are the ones fully in control,
Yeah,
right? Making every decision in real time completely autonomous.
exactly. The premise here is a bit unsettling at first. It suggests that most of us think we are living our lives, but actually we are being lived by a set of invisible systems.
Like we're just running on autopilot?
Yeah, we are just coasting on these pre-installed systems. And the mission of this deep dive is to help you transition from being a user of your own life to an architect.
I really love that distinction, the user versus the architect. So before we get into the specific metaphors, and there are 6 really juicy ones we're going to decode today, let's define that shift. What is the difference between a user and an architect in this context?
Well, think about how you use a computer or a piece of software, right? A user clicks through the menus that are already there.
Right, they just take what they're given.
Exactly. They accept the default settings. They react to notifications as they pop up. If a video starts autoplaying, they just sit there and watch it.
They operate within the boundaries defined by someone else.
Yes, they are entirely passive consumers of the interface. They don't question why the button is red or why the menu is on the left.
So translating that to life terms, that's someone who just wakes up, checks their phone because it buzzed, goes to the job because that's what the script says, reacts to their partner's bad mood.
And basically lets the autoplay feature run their entire day.
Yeah, they are just letting the inputs determine the outputs without any filter in between.
Precisely. You're just reacting to the interface. But the architect, or the admin, if we want to stick to the tech analogy, the architect accesses the backend code.
They get into the actual programming of the thing.
Right. They change the settings, they design the interface, they write the scripts. The provocative question the source material asks right at the beginning is, and this is a quote, if you don't design your own system, you are automatically running on someone else's default settings.
Man, that is a heavy thought.
Yeah.
Because if you aren't designing it, who is?
Well, usually those defaults come from parent, society, maybe past trauma.
A culture you grew up in.
Exactly.
Well.
And the scariest part is that those defaults were usually installed years ago, sometimes decades ago.
So you were running like 2024 hardware, your adult life, your current responsibilities, your mortgage on software from 1995.
Or 2005, yeah. That is a driver conflict, pure and simple.
Oof. Okay, that hits home. I think we've all had that moment where we react to something like a petulant teenager and think, whoa, where did that come from?
Yes, that is the legacy software kicking in. It's a script written when you were 14 that is still executing when you're 35.
So to become the architect, to actually write our own code, we have to understand the systems that are currently running the show.
We need to see the matrix, basically.
Right. And the source material breaks this down into 6 incredible metaphors. We've got the mind as a streaming service, the body as a navigation system or GPS emotions as a weather system, identity as a gaming console, which I got to say is my personal favorite, habits as a smart home, and life as a playlist shuffle.
It's an incredibly comprehensive dashboard. If you can master these 6, you basically get root access to your own psychology.
I definitely want that root access.
Yeah.
So let's dive right into the first one, Chapter 13, the mind as a streaming service.
This is such a powerful way to understand attention and curation. The core metaphor here is that your consciousness operates exactly like a streaming platform, like Netflix or Spotify.
Okay, so it has a recommendation engine.
Yes, it has an algorithm that suggests thoughts based on your viewing history.
And we all know how those algorithms work in real life. If I watch 3 videos on YouTube about, I don't know, cat conspiracies, my feed is suddenly 100% cat conspiracy.
Right, it takes over. And the key insight here from the text is that the algorithm inside your mind isn't good or bad. It is simply an optimization machine.
It just wants engagement.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It simply gives you more of what you engage with. It doesn't care about your well-being. It doesn't care if a thought makes you miserable. It only cares about your attention.
So let's play this out because this is wild. If I spend my morning binge watching anxiety, dwelling on a worry, analyzing it, fighting with it in my head, The algorithm is taking notes.
Oh, it's taking highly detailed notes. It tags that anxiety as high engagement content. It thinks, oh, the user is really interested in financial panic today. They spent 45 minutes on this topic.
Wow.
So let's queue up 47 more thoughts about money problems for tomorrow.
That is that is terrifyingly accurate. It explains why when you're in a bad mood, it feels like your brain is just actively attacking you with bad memories.
It's just serving up recommendations. Because you watched I'm a Failure Here or similar titles.
Because you worried about money last week, here are 47 new money anxieties for you to binge. That makes so much sense.
And the danger here, as the text points out, is autoplay.
The dreaded autoplay.
Yes. Most people spend their lives letting the service play whatever comes up next based on old patterns. They sit on the couch of their mind and just let the playlist run.
They just stare at the screen while it cycles through worst-case scenarios from 2018.
Exactly.
So how do we stop the binge? Because you can't just stop a thought from appearing, right? That's like trying to stop a thumbnail from showing up on your Netflix home screen.
That is the crucial distinction. You can't stop the suggestion. You cannot control what pops into your head. That's just the algorithm doing its job based on past data.
Right.
But you have a skip button. You can choose not to press play.
Meaning you choose not to engage or dwell or spiral on that specific thought.
Yes. The thought appears. You see the thumbnail for Financial Panic Season 4? You don't click it.
But that's so hard in practice. The source material actually offers a specific strategy for this, though, right? The cue interrupt protocol.
Yes. I love a good protocol, and this one is incredibly practical. It's a 4-step process to break a downward mental spiral.
Walk us through this, because I think everyone listening needs this tool in their back pocket today.
Okay, so step 1 is name the pattern. You have to acknowledge what's happening in the system. You literally say out loud or in your head, I'm in a downward queue right now.
So just calling it out helps. It separates you from the stream.
Exactly. It creates a tiny gap of observation. It shifts you from being the person drowning in the river to the person standing on the bank watching the river.
It's not, I am sad, it's, I am watching the sadness channel.
Right. You are identifying the interface. Then step 2 is stop the current song.
And how do we do that?
This has to be physical. You need to change your state or location immediately.
No.
If you're sitting on the couch spiraling, you have to stand up, go outside, walk into the kitchen.
It's like physically closing the laptop lid. You have to break the trance.
Yes. The text makes a great point here. You cannot solve the problem with the same mind that created it, and you can't change the channel if you're still sitting in the exact same chair, staring at the exact same wall.
Because your environment is triggering the autoplay.
Exactly. Physical movement disrupts the neural firing pattern.
Okay, so I've named the pattern. I stood up and walked to the kitchen. What is step 3?
Step 3 is change the genre. You need to introduce opposite energy.
Opposite energy. Give me an example of that.
If your internal state is frantic and high speed, like anxiety or panic, you need to play something calm. Put on slow music, force yourself to breathe slowly, look at a static image.
Right, so counteracting the hyperstimulation.
Yes. But if you're numb and lethargic, if you're in a depressive queue, you play something active. Jump up and down, put on high BPM, splash cold water on your face.
So you're forcefully injecting a completely different vibe into the system to shock the algorithm.
You are manually overriding the algorithm's current mood setting. And finally, step 4 is cue one better song.
Cue one better song.
Yes. Do one small positive action to seed the algorithm with new data. Send a kind text to a friend, drink a glass of water, do 5 push-ups, make your bed.
You're basically telling the algorithm, hey, I'm interested in this kind of content now.
Exactly. You are feeding it new data. Less doom, more hydration, please.
Over time, does this actually rewrite the recommendation engine?
Yes, absolutely. Every time you skip a negative thought and actively cue a positive action, you are rewriting the back-end code of your recommendation engine. You are teaching it what the architect actually wants.
That is so empowering. But there's a warning in this chapter too, right? The echo chamber warning.
Yes, this is the discovery mode concept. If you get too good at curating only what you like, only comfort, only safety, only things that confirm your existing biases, your identity calcifies.
You become rigid.
You become incredibly fragile. If you only listen to the same 10 songs, you stop growing. The source material says you need to intentionally introduce off-brand experiences to keep the algorithm flexible.
Like what? Reading things you disagree with.
Reading opposing viewpoints. Doing things that scare you slightly, listening to a genre of music you think you hate. You need to keep the system in discovery mode so it doesn't just loop the same comfortable thoughts forever.
Otherwise, you just become a caricature of yourself. You become completely predictable.
Exactly. You have to keep the algorithm guessing to stay sharp.
Okay, let's transition to segment 2. This one honestly shifted my perspective on burnout completely. Chapter 14. The body as a navigation system or the GPS?
This metaphor addresses the massive conflict between our mental plans and our physical reality. It distinguishes between the map and the GPS.
Okay, unpack that for us. Because I think most of us treat our bodies like a rental car that we just expect to run, and our minds are the drivers.
That's very close to how we operate, but let's look at the navigation aspect specifically. The map is your mind. It's a static plan made in the past.
Made like yesterday when I felt great and planned out my whole week.
Exactly. Maybe yesterday, maybe last year when you made your 5-year plan. It shows the ideal route. Wake up at 6 a.m., work 8 hours, be highly productive, cook a healthy dinner read for an hour.
It's the itinerary. It's the absolute best case scenario, assuming zero friction.
Right. It's clean, it's logical, and it assumes perfect conditions. But the GPS is your body. The GPS is a real-time live updating system.
Okay, so what kind of data is the GPS using that the map doesn't have?
It processes thousands of data streams that the map is completely blind to. Your current energy levels, your stress hormones, the barometric pressure outside that weird passive-aggressive conversation you had with your coworker, the poor sleep you got last night, the microvirus your immune system is currently fighting off.
Wow, so the map says go straight full speed ahead, but the GPS is screaming roadblock ahead, traffic accident rerouting.
Exactly. And the core conflict of modern life, the reason we are all so exhausted, is that most people override the GPS to follow the map.
Because we think the map is the authority.
Yeah.
We think the map is the logical truth.
We idolize the map, we ignore the body's signals until the car literally breaks down and we crash, which is what we call burnout.
I know you listening have been there. I've been there. You're sitting at your desk, your eyes are glazing over, your lower back is aching, and you tell yourself, no, the schedule says I have 2 more hours of deep work. Keep pushing.
That is actively ignoring the reroute signal. The source material argues forcefully that physical sensations are not failures, they are not signs of weakness.
What are they then?
They are directional instructions, they are pure data.
Let's go through these reroute signals, because there are 7 of them detailed in the text, and I found them so helpful to identify. Because usually when I feel these, I just think I'm doing something wrong or I'm being lazy.
They are crucial to understand. The first one is physical tension. That's a signal you're forcing something that doesn't fit.
Like trying to drive a semi-truck through a tunnel made for a bicycle.
Exactly. If your jaw is clenched while you're writing an email, or your shoulders are up by your ears during a meeting, you are off route. Your body is bracing for impact.
Then there's exhaustion. And the book clarifies this isn't just the man I had a long day, kind of tired.
No, this is running on empty. It means the route you are currently on requires fuel you do not possess.
It's the check engine light flashing.
It's the GPS saying fuel critical. Stop at the nearest station immediately. And usually we just say, shut up, car, we're getting to the destination.
Just drink another coffee and keep driving.
Which just burns out the engine faster.
Resentment was a really big one for me. I always thought resentment meant I was just being a jerk, or I was ungrateful for my life.
Resentment is fascinating in this framework. It's almost always a signal that you are overgiving and violating your own boundaries.
Wow.
It's the GPS saying you are driving off a cliff of self-sacrifice. If you feel resentment toward a friend or a partner or a boss, it means you gave something you didn't actually have the capacity to give.
You agreed to do a favor when your tank was already empty, and now you're mad at them for it.
Exactly. The resentment is a reroute signal telling you to set a boundary. Turn around.
That is so clear. And what about envy? We usually think of envy as a toxic trait, something we should hide and feel ashamed of.
Here, it's reframed entirely as a signal of a suppressed desire. It's the GPS highlighting a destination you actually want to go to but haven't admitted to yourself.
So if I'm insanely jealous of a friend who just quit their corporate job to open a bakery,
It's not about the bakery necessarily, and it's definitely not about your friend. It's the GPS saying, recalculating route to creative freedom. It's highlighting a direction your system wants to explore.
it's just showing you a point of interest on the map.
Exactly. Treat it as data, not as a moral failing.
Then boredom.
Boredom is a signal that the current route is too easy or understimulating. It's a growth need not being met. The NMIS is idling too high and wasting potential.
The analogy here is so good. Treat the body like Google Maps. Because if Google Maps says traffic accident ahead, rerouting, adding 10 minutes, you don't scream at your phone.
Right. You don't call Google Maps lazy. You don't say just push through the pileup.
You trust the data. You realize the system sees something you don't.
It has access to satellite data, just like your body has access to nervous system data that your conscious mind hasn't processed yet.
Which brings up this really cool concept in the chapter of offline maps. What is that about?
This refers to somatic wisdom. You know how you can download maps on your phone so they work even when you drive into a dead zone and lose cellular signal?
Yeah, it saves you when you're out in the woods.
Your body has deep offline knowledge like that. It often knows a situation or a person is unsafe or a job is completely wrong for you long before your mind has the logic to explain it.
It's navigation without a cognitive signal.
Exactly. It's that gut feeling that hits you in the stomach before the brain can articulate the why. The architect learns to trust that offline map even when the online data, the pro and con list, isn't there yet.
Trusting the gut, literally. The body knows before the brain does.
Every time.
Okay, moving on to segment 3. We've got the streaming service for the mind and the GPS for the body. Now let's look at the atmosphere. Chapter 15. Emotions as a weather system.
This builds so nicely on the GPS concept. If the body is the car and the navigation system, emotions are the weather conditions you're driving through.
And the core mantra here is you are the climate, not the weather.
Yes. You're the climate, not the weather.
I love that framing.
Yeah.
So I am the sky, and the anger or the sadness is just a thunderstorm passing through.
Exactly. Emotions are very real, they are very intense, and they definitely affect visibility, but they are temporary atmospheric patterns.
The mistake people make is identifying with the weather.
Right. Saying I am a depressed person rather than I am experiencing a low-pressure system of depression right now.
It sounds like just semantics, but it creates so much space, doesn't it?
It creates a massive amount of psychological space. Because if you are the rain, you're drowning. If you're the sky, you're just watching it rain.
And just like with actual weather, the goal isn't to stop the rain. You can't stop it.
No, you cannot control the weather. You cannot simply decide, I will not be sad today.
Trust me, I've tried.
We all have. The goal is to dress for it. The source suggests a really practical daily practice called the weather report.
This is a great tool. How do we use the weather report?
You basically wake up and identify the forecast. You look inward and ask, is it sunny today? Is it stormy? Is there a thick fog of brain fog?
And you check for storm warnings, right?
Yes. Storm warnings occur when a high-pressure system is colliding with a low-pressure system.
Give us a concrete example of that collision.
A high-pressure system might be a tight deadline at work or an impending argument you need to have. Lots of external demand and pressure.
Okay.
A low-pressure system might be that you're fatigued, you skip lunch, or you're feeling emotionally vulnerable. When high external demand meets low internal resource, you get a severe storm.
That collision is definitely a tornado warning.
It is a Category 5 hurricane waiting to happen. And the advice here is incredibly practical. Don't plan a picnic during a hurricane.
I love this imagery.
Meaning, don't schedule high-demand creative work or a difficult relationship talk during an internal emotional crisis. Respect the weather.
If it's raining, put on a raincoat.
If you're angry, go for a run to burn off the lightning. If you're sad, wrap up in a blanket and cancel your social plans.
It seems so obvious when you put it that way, but we try to picnic in hurricanes all the time.
We do it constantly. We expect our performance to be identical every single day, regardless of the internal weather conditions.
We say, I should be able to write this report right now, while an emotional hurricane is completely trashing our internal city.
And then we beat ourselves up for getting wet. It's absurd when you look at it through the architect lens. You wouldn't be mad at yourself for getting wet if you walked into a rainstorm without an umbrella.
You just say, well, it's raining.
Exactly.
Okay, let's get to the really fun one. Segment 4. Identity as a gaming console. This is chapter 16. And as someone who grew up playing RPGs like Final Fantasy, this absolutely speaks my language.
It's a delightful metaphor, and it's surprisingly deep. It suggests viewing your life as a role-playing game. An RPG.
So you have a character sheet.
Yes. You have stats. Strength, focus, empathy, stamina, charisma, resilience.
But the problem, the book points out, is that most of us are playing with the starter character.
Yes, the default build. The character our parents or our teachers rolled for us when we were young. We just accepted those stats. We don't realize we can pause open the menu and redistribute our skill points.
The insight here is so profound. Let me read the quote. You are not discovering who you are. You are designing who you are becoming.
That distinction changes everything. We treat identity in our culture like it's a buried treasure we have to uncover. We go on these journeys to find ourselves.
Like it's static and hidden under a rock somewhere.
Right. But this argues you are building yourself actively. It's construction, not excavation.
And this leads perfectly to the EXP, or Experience Points framework. This completely flips the script on how we view hardship and failure.
Completely. Think about it. In a video game, how do you level up?
You have to do stuff. You have to fight monsters,
Yeah.
solve puzzles, complete quests. You have to grind.
Exactly. You face challenges. In real life, we usually try to avoid difficulties at all costs. We want the easy path with no friction.
We want to just stay in the safe village.
But this framework suggests that difficulties are not punishments from the universe. They're the only mechanism for gaining EXP.
So that incredibly difficult conversation you need to have with your boss, that's not a bad day. That's an XP farm.
Exactly. Dealing with a toddler having a meltdown in a grocery store, that's grinding your patience stat.
Navigating a brutal breakup.
That's grinding your resilience and empathy stats. You are leveling up your character's emotional armor.
And this directly addresses the readiness trap. In video games, you don't really feel ready to fight the boss. The boss is huge and scary.
You fight the boss, and that fight is how you level up. We spend so much time in real life waiting to feel ready.
We say, I'll apply for that promotion when I feel more confident.
But the confidence is the loot you get after the battle.
Oh man, confidence is the loot.
It's not the prerequisite for entering the dungeon. You enter trembling, you fight, you fail, maybe you try again, you survive, and then the boss drops the badge of confidence.
That is such a good reframe.
Yeah.
And speaking of battles, let's talk about boss battles in real life.
These are the big, scary life challenges you've been circling. Maybe it's a major career pivot, or leaving a toxic long-term relationship, or publishing your creative work for the first time.
They guard the gate to the next zone.
Exactly. Defeating them unlocks new levels of the game that simply didn't exist before. The world map expands. But you can't access the next zone until you beat the boss.
And what if you fail? What if you try to pivot careers and you go broke?
In a game over isn't final. It's just a respawn with more data.
Right, you just reload the save.
You tried the boss, you learned his attack pattern, and you die. Now you try again, but you're smarter. You know the fireball is coming at the 2-minute mark, so you dodge it.
Failure is just data collection.
Exactly. Now, there's also a really interesting distinction in this chapter about play styles, specifically speedrunners versus explorers.
Yes, this explains so much of modern unhappiness, I think.
It really does. Speedrunners are players who optimize for milestones and efficiency. They want the achievements, the titles, the fastest route to the end credits.
They want to win life, retire by 30, be a CEO by 40.
Right. And explorers optimize for depth and richness of experience. They want to do every single side quest, talk to every NPC, see every hidden corner of the map.
They don't care how long it takes to finish the game.
Yeah.
They care about how it feels to play it.
Exactly. And the massive internal conflict comes when you are an explorer naturally, but you are trying to live a speedrunner life.
Because society rewards speedrunners.
It does. So you get unhappiness from playing an explorer game but judging your success by speedrunner metrics.
The explorer says, I'm not a VP by 30, so I'm a total failure.
Meanwhile, that same explorer spent their 20s traveling, living abroad, and learning 3 languages. They had an incredibly rich playthrough.
But they are using the wrong scoreboard.
Exactly. If you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree right.
You have to know what game you're actually playing. If you judge an explorer by their speed, they look like failures. If you judge a speedrunner by their depth or relaxation, they look like failures.
You have to pick your play style and firmly stick to those metrics. Stop looking at the other player's screen.
Okay, segment 5. We're moving from the gaming console to the house itself. Chapter 17, Habits as a Smart Home.
This metaphor is all about automation versus willpower. It asks you to imagine your daily life as a smart home.
Which means it has automation running in the background. Things turning on and off by themselves.
It already does. Your unconscious habits are automation. But when you do an audit, it usually reveals that most of this automation was installed by outdated software.
Like what we talked about earlier, childhood coping mechanisms.
Right. Your brain installed a script that says stress trigger detected run protocol eat sugar.
Or conflict detected run protocol shut down and scroll phone.
Exactly. That's an automated smart home script. The lights go off, the phone comes out. It happens before you even consciously think about it.
So what does the architect do?
The goal of the architect is to audit this code and rewrite it. You want to replace willpower with design.
Because willpower is like manually running around the house, turning on every single light switch.
Yes. And willpower is a battery. It drains incredibly fast.
Yeah.
Every time you have to decide to do the right thing, you burn battery.
You wake up and decide, should I work out? Should I eat a donut?
Exactly. You want to set up your environment so the right thing happens automatically without a decision.
What are the types of automation the book says we should be looking to install?
There are three main types. First is efficiency automation. These are your morning rituals, meal prep, setting out your gym clothes the night before.
Things that remove decision fatigue completely.
Right. You shouldn't be deciding what to have for breakfast every single day. That uses up processing power you desperately need for your actual job.
Save the bandwidth for the boss battles.
Exactly. Second is protective automation. This is crucial. These are things like an automatic no to draining requests.
Oh, I love an automatic no. Let me check my calendar. Actually means no, but I'm being polite.
Right, or automatic rest protocols. For example, a rule that says, if it is past 9 p.m., the phone goes in a drawer in another room. No decision needed. It's just an automated rule of the house.
I definitely need more of that. An auto reply for my energy.
And the third type is biological automation. This is supporting what your body does naturally, like sleep and digestion.
So don't interfere. Just support the systems already running.
Stop drinking caffeine at 2 p.m. so the sleep cycle script can run its evening update without crashing.
But there's a trap here too, right? Becoming a robot in your own life. I worry sometimes about becoming so optimized that I'm just boring.
Yes, the trap of becoming a prisoner to your own productive routine. That's why the manual override feature is so critical to this metaphor.
This loops right back to the GPS, doesn't it?
It does perfectly. Real smart homes allow overrides. If the automation says work out at 6 a.m. because that's the schedule, but the GPS your body says injury detected or severe exhaustion, you use the manual override.
You flip the switch off.
And the cardinal rule here is override is for protection, not laziness.
That's the key distinction.
You override to save the system from crashing, not to avoid doing the work. You don't override because your bed is warm and cozy. You override because you have a fever.
Okay, bringing us to the final metaphor. Segment 6, Chapter 18, Life as a Playlist Shuffle.
This connects back to the streaming service we talked about first, but it focuses on patterns over a long period of time. The concept is the algorithm of patterns.
The book says randomness isn't random.
Exactly. The recurring events in your life are songs on repeat.
So if you keep dating the exact same type of person, you know the emotionally unavailable project person.
Or having the exact same argument with 3 different bosses across 5 years.
That's a track on repeat.
It's a track deeply embedded in your algorithm. And you have to actively skip the track, meaning you have to intentionally interrupt the behavioral pattern to teach the algorithm you don't want to hear that song anymore.
I really love the application of this to relationships. The concept of collaborative playlists.
It's a brilliant way to view relationships. Every relationship is a shared playlist. You have to audit this regularly. Ask yourself who has edit access to your life.
Ooh. That's a tough question. Who is allowed to add songs to your queue?
And more importantly, what songs are they adding? Are they constantly adding anxiety, criticism, drama?
Or are they adding joy, expansion, and support?
Exactly. And we have to turn that mirror around too. We have to ask, what songs are we adding to their playlist?
Are we the toxic DJ?
Works both ways. Are you the one adding the constant complaining track to your partner's peaceful morning commute?
That hits hard. We have to be responsible DJs in other people's lives too.
We do. And the hard truth the source material delivers here is that you are allowed to remove edit access.
You can take away their Spotify login.
You can't control what songs people play in their own lives, but you have absolute control over whether they play them in your headphones.
Wow. That brings us to the DJ mindset.
This is the ultimate transition from passive listener to active DJ. You don't control every song life hands you.
Right. Circumstances happen.
You don't control the macro weather or the traffic or the economy. But as the DJ, you control the transition. You control the volume. And you control what you cue next.
I feel like we've just been handed the keys to the control room. We've gone through 6 massive frameworks today. The streaming service, the GPS, the weather system, the gaming console, the smart home, and the playlist.
It's a full stack of operating systems.
So how do we actually integrate this? Because this is a huge amount of info. If I try to do all 6 tomorrow morning,
Yeah.
I'm going to crash my system entirely.
The outro of the source material anticipates this, and it brings everything together into an integrated life dashboard.
It's just a daily check-in, right? Just 5 minutes.
Yes, just
Okay.
5 minutes a day. You run through the metaphors quickly like a pilot doing a pre-flight checklist.
Okay, let's do the checklist.
One streaming, what's cued in my mind today? Am I cueing curiosity or courage or anxiety?
Right.
2 GPS. What is my current physical location and energy level?
What's the fuel gauge at?
3 weather. What's the emotional forecast? High pressure, low pressure. 4 gaming. What specific skill am I leveling up today in my challenges?
Facing a bus today.
And 5 smart home. Which automated routine is running right now, and do I need to hit the manual override?
It's a quick diagnostic. And instead of tracking weight or income, the source suggests core metrics to check in 30 seconds.
Yes, track energy, stress, and connection. Those are the metrics that actually determine the quality of your human experience.
I want to leave everyone listening with the final provocative thought from the source material. It says you are not a set of metrics, you are a living system. The goal isn't to be a perfect machine, it's to be a fully alive human. The update is running, the question is, are you the one running it?
That really is the ultimate question, moving from user to architect.
Well, expert, thank you so much for guiding us through the code today. And to you listening, pick one metaphor. Just one. Install it today. See what happens when you finally grab the controller.
The remote is in your hand.
We'll see you in the next deep dive.